and welcome to my December wrap-up and January TBR. So as I said, I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up and January TBR today. I'm sorry I've been gone. I was sick for about a week and a half around Christmas and it was just awful, so much better now. And without further ado, let's get to it. Just to start out, as I said before, I don't have all of the books actually with me because I already returned most of them to the library, so I get a lot of my books there. But the first book I read this month was Blackout by Mira Grant. It's the third book in the Newsflash trilogy, and I love the ending, and I gave it 5 of 5 stars. Next, I'm sure most of you will be proud, but I read Looking for Alaska by John Green. It was my first John Green book, and it was really good. I get the hype, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of his books. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read Monstrous Beauty by Elizabeth Fama. It actually wasn't what I expected at all. I figured it would be kind of like a light paranormal romance with mermaids, and it was so much different. It was so much better. It was dark and mysterious and lyrical. I really liked it, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was The Unnaturalists by Tiffany Trent. It is a YA steampunk fantasy mix. Sorry, cat. Shh, goodness, stop whining. Come here. Overall, it was pretty good, but it was a little formulaic, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Sun by Lois Lowry, which is the fourth in, I guess, the Giver quartet. I love The Giver. It's one of my favorite books ever, so I was very excited to read it. It was a nice wrap-up to the quartet, but it left me wanting a little bit more, so I did give it 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I read Dark Currents by Jacqueline Carey. It's an adult paranormal series. It was fairly good, though I haven't read a whole bunch of adult paranormal, so I'm not sure how it compares, but I did give it 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I read Jessica Rules the Dark Side, which is the sequel to Jessica's Guide to Dating on the Dark Side by Beth Fantaskey. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first book, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Next, I read The Backyard Homestead by Carleen Madigan. And it's a nonfiction book. It basically gives you some basics on gardening, raising animals, everything you can do on a quarter of an acre is what it says. Raising chickens, pigs, goats, all that kind of stuff. One day I'd love to have my own little mini farm and just a big library, and that would make me happy forever. It was a good introduction to these subjects, but you definitely need separate books if you actually wanted to do any of them, as it doesn't get very detailed. So it got 4 out of 5 stars. On my Kindle, I read Carnival of Souls by Melissa Marr. It's a young adult fantasy, almost paranormal series. The setup's kind of similar to Daughter of Smoke and Bone in how the paranormal and the fantasy elements mix. It was really good. I did read it in a day, and I got 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm looking forward to the sequels. Finally, I read Don't Turn Around by Michelle Gagnon? I'm not trying to say it. But it's a young adult thriller or mystery. A lot of people have compared it to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I definitely get that vibe. Technically, I haven't finished this yet. I'm about 80%, but I do plan to finish it tonight, so I'm going ahead and counting it. And right now, it's at a 4 out of 5 stars. Depending on the ending, it might get bumped up, so we'll see. And on to my TBR list for January. First, I want to finish books that I'm in the middle of. One is The Bloodkeeper by Tessa Gratton. Next, I finally need to finish The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. I've been working on this for a while, and I know it's supposed to pick up about halfway through. I'm not quite there yet. Hopefully it will, and then I can get through it and I will like it. Next will be The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I actually am about 50 pages in. I just got this for Christmas, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I got a box set of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I've never read for Christmas, so I'm actually going to start reading these. I'm going to read The Fellowship of the Ring in January, maybe the other two if I really get into it. Hopefully I will like it as much as I like The Hobbit. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss is an adult fantasy series. I've been planning to read it for a while, I just hadn't picked it up, and I got it with some of my Christmas Amazon money, so I'm excited to get started. And last but not least, I'm going to read Sapphire Blue by Kerstin Gier, something. It's the sequel to Ruby Red, which I really enjoyed. It's a time-traveling YA novel. I know a lot of people I saw in Christmas hauls got it for Christmas, and I'm excited to read the sequel. Last, I'd like to ask you guys, what would you like me to review out of what I read last month and what I'm going to be reading this month? I would like to really start doing some reviews, but I'm not sure which to start with first, so I thought I'd ask you, and you guys can kind of vote, and I can see which one is the most popular. Just leave it in the comments. I'll get those reviews out to you. Hopefully you should also be seeing my 2012 in review and 2012 favorites tag. And then tomorrow you'll see my 2013 book and booktube resolutions. So until then, see you later. Bye.